Hi everybody, we are going live again today for a fusion yoga class. So I'm going to let everybody load into the class and welcome you to the noon hour yoga. So it's Friday. I don't know about you, but I've lost track of time. I don't know what day is what anymore. So I had to look at the calendar before I actually came on today to go, what day is it? So it is Friday. So Friday is a perfect day to do some yoga. So our fusion yoga today is a melding of different yoga practices. Just to give you a little background of my history in yoga. I started as teaching an Ashtanga yoga practice, and then I started teaching more of a Hatha style, and today you're going to feel a blend. I'm going to integrate some Pilates in as well, so we get some core conditioning and core integration. So there'll be some core centric poses that will blend our yoga and Pilates together in our fusion today. And just so you get ready and set up, make sure you have space. If you have a yoga mat, place your yoga mat on the floor and have space all the way around it, because we will be working all around it, but most of the poses will be on the mat. If you have yoga blocks, your yoga blocks or any big textbook that you have at home could be good for seated poses as well as for some of our standing poses to just give yourself support or better alignment in the pose. The third thing to have is your belt. I have my robe belt, right? But if you have a yoga belt, fantastic, use your yoga belt, but any kind of belt for any of the poses that can assist you to enhance your alignment to get into the poses. So we have more and more people coming in. You're waving. Thank you for waving at me. Are you excited about doing some yoga today? I am. I just did a HIIT class with the academy this morning, and so I'm done with burpees for now, and I'm ready to stretch it out and do a little bit of yoga. Yeah, super excited to do that. All right, good to see so many of you here. So many of you are coming back over and over again, which I really, really appreciate. I see some of my friends out there. Shep, thank you for coming back again. Sandy, our dinner clubs are postponed for now, but I'm seeing you in classes, which is so great. My daughter, who's still out in Vancouver because we can't get her because it keeps snowing here in Calgary. So those of you who don't have snow and winter type weather, be happy. Which brings me to the theme of today's class. I wore my Namaste shirt today on purpose because today's theme is gratitude. Right? And I know there's so much going on that sometimes finding gratitude is not an easy thing to do. So today, make your practice about gratitude. Whatever you are grateful for, let's think about that today. And if you can't think of anything in your external world as to be thankful for, be thankful for what your body gives you. Right? Sometimes we're very critical when we practice yoga and we think about what our body can't give us. If we can't stretch further, if we can't get into a pose, we think about those things. So today, if those thoughts come into your head, what I'd like you to think about is what your body can give you. So respect yourself as you go through this. Take breaks when you want to. I can't see what you do, right? But enjoy the practice. Are you ready to begin? So find a seated position on your mat. Let's come cross-legged. I'm going to use a block to sit on, and sometimes that just helps to bring you into a position where the hips can relax a little bit, because if your hips are tight, seated cross-legged is not always a comfortable place to be. And then take your hands out over your knees, palms open, and then just take your gaze downwards, or you can close your eyes if you'd like. And then just take a nice deep breath in, full breath in. Take 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then exhale fully. Again, bring in your inhalation for 4 counts. So you're really taking a lot of breath. And then exhale. Now let's readjust the body position. So finding what we call the sitting bones, the 2 bones at the base of the pelvis. Just rock right and left. Find center on the sitting bones. And then from the sitting bones pressing downwards, feel as though you elongate the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. And as we do that, your inhalation will give you that length. So inhale, exhale, and settle. Good. Switch the cross of your legs so the other foot comes in front. And again, just think about sitting bones moving down, crown of the head moving up as we elongate upwards. And exhale. And bring your hands together. Thumbs to your sternum, fingertips pointing upwards. And just soften the gaze again towards the fingertips or close your eyes. And just tune into your inner being, your inner self. Notice your breathing. Notice where the movement of the inhalation goes within your body. And then notice how the body changes with an exhalation. Your breathing is a link towards your nervous system. So your breath pattern, your nervous system work continuously with each other. And the breath helps to control what we call the autonomic nervous system. There's an energy system in our nervous system, which is called our sympathetic nervous system, which creates high energy. And then we have our parasympathetic system, which causes calm. When we're related to the breath, the inhalation stimulates the sympathetic nervous system, the excitement, the energy. And the exhalation stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. So when we're working today through your practice, when you need strength, focus to the inhalation. And when you need to let go and release, focus to that exhalation and see how that feels for you today. Let the arms flow down, take a deep breath, inhale, raise up, exhale and open. Let's just do that again. So just warming up through the upper body, inhaling and lengthening. That same sensation of pressing down through the sitting bones and right upwards through the fingertips, all the way as we inhale and then extend out and expand into the space that you have around you. One more time. Inhale, open. And then exhale and release. Let's switch the cross of the legs one more time as we take the arms out in front. Turn the palms of the hands forward and scoop into your spine. So you round out, you inhale and open. Let's do that again. Come forward, curve the spine. Inhale, lift. Now there might be some kinks, some tightness through the spine as you tuck the tailbone under and round. Just notice that in your own body and release one more time. Tuck and curve. Inhale, lift. Exhale and open. Let the head just go from one side and then gently over to the other side. So just awakening the body before we come into the practice. Now we're going to start with strong standing poses in the practice and then work down to the mat to finish. Good, and then take a deep breath. Inhale, raise up. Exhale and let the arms float down. So as gracefully as possible, whatever way you'd like to get into a kneeling position, come to a kneeling position on your mat. Move your block away if you're using a block. And place your hands directly underneath your shoulders. I know I always do cat-cow in yoga because it warms the spine. So let's tuck the tailbone, curve the spine, tuck the chin, and round into it. And then inhale, create length, and open. So link the breath and movement. Exhale moves you into flexion. Inhale brings you into extension. And just float through that with your breath. Just notice the rhythm of the breath and the rhythm of the movement. And can you synchronize the breath with the movement? So there's never a hesitation in either the breath or the movement. We're either inhaling and moving or exhaling and moving. That starts to become the dance of linking breath and movement in yoga practice. Come to a neutral back position. And in this position, just rock your rib cage right and left. And just find the softness in the elbows and move from the ribs and the shoulders. So we find a little bit of release in the side bodies. Right? And then come to center. In that center position, take a deep breath, inhale. Stabilize your core as you exhale and reach the right arm forward. Lengthening, reaching. Good. And now rotate and open. Breathe through it. Now come through and thread. Shoulder comes down, head comes down. Now your left hand can stay on the mat, or if you like, reach it up towards the ceiling, opening up the chest and shoulder. And then exhale, bring your hand down and come back to center. Let's go to the opposite side. Inhale, open. forward, reach and find stability. Find that lengthening. Come through, thread through. Shoulder comes down, head comes down, arm can come up if you'd like. Hand comes down to the mat. Bring yourself up and take the knees nice and wide, the inside edges of the feet together. Walk the hands forward. Settle back into your child's pose. And as you settle into child's pose, just observe what your body is saying. Again, if the knees have discomfort in them, keep the hips a little bit higher, more of the weight shifted into your upper body. If you're comfortable to sit back into the hips, bring your sitting bones at the base of the pelvis towards your heel bones, and then elongate the arms forward. So you feel this lengthening from the sitting bones in the back of the body to the fingertips in the front of the body. Take a deep breath here in. And as you exhale, settle more deeply into the pose. Now we're going to come halfway out. Shift your weight forward, curve your spine, just like we were doing cat stretch, but now we're coming up from child's pose and then exhaling down. So we curve and lift, and we exhale back. So we're just working through that sitting back and lifting up. So just getting some movement in the hip, the knee. One more time. And then come forward, curl your toes under, and align your knees, bringing your hips, your feet about hip width apart, your arms shoulder distance apart. Find the foundation in your hands. So press into the mound of your thumb, equally to the mound of your little finger, and that's going to activate the inside, the outside part of the arm. So the bicep and the tricep are both going to be hugging the upper arms, and then draw the shoulder blades back and feel as though you slide your shoulder blades towards your hips in the back of the body. So we're strong through the upper body. So from here, just soften the knees, tops of the feet go down, and then push back into your child's pose. We're warming up the upper body. We're going to start easy, then you can go more challenging as you like. Shift your weight forward, hug your arms in, lower yourself all the way down. Point the toes away, tops of the feet are extending, roll the shoulders back, inhale, and come into baby cobra pose. Exhale, come down, soften your knees, push up, press back, child's pose. So let's make that flow. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, extend. Exhale, come down. Push yourself up. Press back. Let's do that 2 more times, just warming it up. Opening and extending. Exhaling. Pressing back. And then just 1 more time on your own rhythm. Remember, this is not the tough stuff yet. This is just warming. And then shift weight forward, curl your toes under, lift the knees, downward facing dog. So downward facing dog is an inverted V. So imagine if you could step outside of yourself and look at yourself, you would create this line from your fingertips to your hips and from your hips to your heels. So you create this V shape. So just explore this for you. If there's a lot of tightness in the backs of the legs, bend the knees slightly, but rotate the sitting bones upwards. So the sitting bones reach upwards as we come into that down dog. And let's just roll through the feet. So we roll from one foot to the other. Taking our time. Good, and now lift both heels up, bring your knees to the mat, step your right foot to the outside of your right hand, turn the toe out. So the foot turns out the angle, we open up the hip. So just rock right and left. This is preparing us for all of the other poses coming your way. Good, so now for a deeper rotation, take your left hand underneath your shoulder, your right arm reaches up, and we rotate and look back behind us. As you do that, allow your right hip to move down, or the back hip to move down, depending on which foot you have forward. Good, and then bring that hand down. Spread the hands, curl your back toe under, lift up, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale here. As you exhale, lower the knees back down to the mat. The opposite foot steps out wide. Turn the toes out, and then just rock through the hips. So just rocking through the hips, right and left. And then find center. That hand comes underneath your shoulder, the opposite hand reaches up, and you look back behind you. So the back hip now releases a little deeper into the pose. By creating this openness through the hip, it gives you more space for your torso to move within and for the pelvis to open up. And then taking your hand down to that, spread into your hands, curl your back toe under, lift up, and step back, downward facing dog. Now just roll through the feet and find the energy, because we're going to start to pick up the tempo of the work that we're going to be doing in our poses today. So let's lift your heels, bend your knees, look to your hands, jump in or step in, exhale, fold over your legs. As we come into our first forward bend, let the tension go out of your neck and shoulders. Let's soften the knees just enough to release any tension in the hamstring. Now you can have your feet together or feet slightly apart. Reach across the opposite elbow, tuck the chin, and just gently sway. So those of you who come to my classes on a regular basis, you know I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to alignment and when it comes to the physiology of what we're doing. So here's something to think about when you're doing standing forward bends. If you're trying to increase your range of motion in your back of your legs, if you've got really tight hamstrings, I highly recommend that you never hang with your legs straight. There's a good reason why. Right, let's take our feet, or our hands to the floor, bend your knees, sit back in your hips. The reason why is if your legs are straight, the hamstring contracts so that you don't fall onto your face. When we bend our knees, you can feel your quadriceps have taken the load, right? So they're trying to do it. Now when you go forward, the hamstrings stop you from falling forward. So if you're trying to gain mobility, always have some sort of contact to the floor, to the shin, to something to give you some support so the hamstring doesn't have to overwork. Because if the hamstring's contracting and it's trying to hold you still and you're trying to lengthen it, you're not going to get what you want out of the pose. So from here, press down to the feet. Inhale, lengthen all the way up. Now that changes when you've got lots of flexibility in the hamstring, because it will let you go there and bring your hands to heart center. All right, so we're going to go right into a vinyasa, into standing poses. So lower the arms down. Inhale, raise the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward as you come into that forward bend. Inhale, create length in your spine. Keep that length in your spine. Bend your knees, hands to the mat, step one foot back, the other foot back. Find your strong plank pose. Inhale here as you exhale, lower down all the way to the mat. Inhale to come up to a baby cobra. So I'm going to show you the modification first, and then for those of you who are regular yoga practitioners, you can do the full sun salutation A. Soften your knees, push up, press back, child's pose. Shift weight forward, curl your toes under, lift the hips up, downward facing dog. From here, lift your heels, jump or step into your hands. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way to standing. So that is a great modification to roll through your child's pose. Here we go, full sun salutation. Inhale, raise up. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, lengthen. Hands come to the mat, jump or step back. Come halfway down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. And breathe. So you're going to start to feel the heat rising in your body. Lift your heels up, bend your knees, look to your hands, jump or step in. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, come all the way to standing. Exhale, come to heart center. This time when we go down, we're going to stay down in that down dog. Lower the arms down. Inhale, raise up. Exhale, hip hinge. Inhale, create length. Keep that length. Hands down. Jump or step back. Lower yourself down all the way or halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And just find that down dog or resting child's pose. Breathe through it. So let's take your right leg and extend it up nice and high. So we open up through that side of the body. Now, typically what tends to happen when the leg goes up, the entire shoulder girdle rotates. So try and square your shoulders and have the rotation come from your opposite rib to hip. So if the right leg is lifted, stabilize the left rib cage and open up to the opposite side of your body. Then on the back of your body, from your shoulder girdle to the opposite glute of the leg that's lifted, you're working. This is called your anterior oblique sling. and your posterior oblique sling. Inhale here. As you exhale, sweep that leg forward, step to a lunge. And as you come to a lunge, lower yourself down, shin vertically aligned over top of your heel. Sweep the arms up and come into crescent lunge. Inhale here. Exhale, lower. Now the back knee stays straight. So if you're finding there's a lot of tension in your hip, so the hip flexor group, lift up a little bit higher, maybe move the back leg in a little closer. We want to try and keep that back leg straight. Here's another bit of physiology. If your knee is kind of in a half bend, the load goes into the joint. If we contract the quadricep, it tracks the kneecap so that now the knee is protected in this position. So really try and track the knee by engaging that quadricep as you hold here. I know you're holding. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, reach the arms out to the side of the body and then hinge forward over that front leg. So we create length. Now think about the upper back here, strong through the back. So we're strong through the back, the chin is slightly tucked. Breathe into it. Yes, this is intentional because now we've shifted the load into that front gluteal a little bit more. So your gluteal on this side of your body is working. Yes, it is. Breathe through it. Hang on to it. You've got this. Inhale, come all the way back up. You're still on this leg, yes? Bend the back knee lower down. Lift up. So a little bit of circulation through the lunging. We create some circulation. Right? So here's a little bit of infusion of fitness into our yoga practice. 2 more. 1 more. Hold down. Sweep the arms overhead. Now the back knee is bent and the front leg is bent. And try and create about a 90-degree bend in both of the knees. So the back knee is where it's comfortable. Can you bring that knee underneath the hip and the front knee in that 90-degree bend and hold? Breathe in, breathe out. 1 more breath in, 1 more breath out. Fold forward, straighten that back leg, step back, downward facing dog. As you come into downward facing dog, take a moment of relief. Catch your breath, because we're going to the other leg. So with the other leg, lift the leg up, open that hip, and here's what I'm talking about with the shoulders. Try not to rotate the shoulders and dive into one side. Try and keep the shoulders square, and the rotation is in the hip. So the hip, from the rib to the hip, we create this oblique line that opens up the core body. Breathing into it. Finding that strength. On the back of your body, from the leg that's lifted, the gluteal is working, to the opposing shoulder. Inhale here as you exhale, bend your knee, step forward, and bring that foot directly underneath your knee. So your knee creates a vertical line with that heel, and then bring yourself up into your crescent lunge. And as you come into crescent lunge, again, think about what's happening on the back leg. If this hip flexor group is tight on the front of your hip, stand up a little bit higher so you can keep your back leg straight. So keeping that back leg straight if you can. Full breath in, full breath out. I know, right? Strong, purposeful. Open up the arms, hinge forward. Now load that front leg, but think about what's happening in your upper back as well. So the muscles from the back of your shoulder, your rear deltoids, right into between the shoulder blades, and then right down into your lats. All of those big muscles are postural stabilizers. So let's work them here in a position of endurance. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. How do you feel about this? Are we ready to come up? 1 more breath. And then come up, back to your crescent lunge. As you find that crescent lunge, well, like me, I just lost my balance, you can always reset. Now you're going to bend that back knee lower down. And then inhale, lift. So we lower and lift. Lower and lift. So this is about creating circulation. We're getting circulation through the muscles, oxygen into the working muscles. How's everybody doing here? Keep it up. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. 1, hold the bottom, hold the bottom. You've got this. Strong upper bodies. Breathe through it. Right. For 4, 3, 2, Bring your hands down. Step back, downward facing dog. Shift your weight forward. Let's go into a set of push-ups. You can bring your knees down or keep the knees lifted. Lower down, 1, 2, up 2. Lower down, 1, 2, up 2. All right, so the question is, how many? Inhale to go down, exhale to come up. We have 2 more repetitions. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, down dog. All right, from this position now, shift your weight over into your left hand, come into plank, and then rotate to your side T. So as you come into that side T stand, right, you can have your feet scissored, you can lower the bottom leg down, you can lift the top leg, or you can stack your feet one on top of the other, and then lift your top leg. So you've got choices. Where's the best place for you in this pose? Is it to the full lift? You decide. Because you're going to stay here for 4 more breaths. It's an inhalation fully and an exhalation completely. Now, my best advice right now is to focus into your gratitude again. What is it that we thought about at the very beginning of this session? And maybe it is your physical body, what your physical body is giving you. Right? You've got 1 more breath here. You can do this. Inhale, exhale. If your leg is lifted, bring it down, rotate back, and now we have a full push-up down. Inhale, come all the way up, maybe to upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Whew, that was intense. Come over into the right arm, hips come down, rotate, and reach up. Remember your options. You've got the knee down. You've got the knee down, the leg lifted. You've got the feet stacked on top of each other. Or you've got it lifted. You've got 5 breaths here. 5 inhalations, 5 exhalations. Now, if you decided on one of those positions and now we're into it and you change your mind, feel free to change your mind. Right? It's okay to change your mind. Nobody knows what you're doing at home. You can do what feels best in your body. You've got 2 more deep inhalations, deep exhalations. Good, bring that foot down when you're ready. Rotate back, and yes, we're lowering down all the way or halfway. Inhale all the way up to upward facing dog or cobra pose. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Good, and lift your heels, bend your knees, look to your hands. Jump or step in. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, come all the way to standing. And exhale and open. This is where you might want to find one of your blocks. So find one of your blocks for triangle pose. But we're going to start with a dynamic triangle to start. So take your feet wide enough, and if you're turning side to me, just listen for my cues. You want to have about a leg distance, your leg distance between one foot and the other, as far as your straddle stance. Then, from that position, parallel your feet. So parallel your feet in this position. We're going to start with what's called a windmill exercise into triangle. So you're going to take your right foot, pivot, so the right toes now from the hip are rotating out towards the front of your mat or to the side of the room, depending which way you're facing. Your block is going to go just behind your heel on the inside of your leg. Now we're just going to move the hips forward and back. And the tendency with triangle is that the knees lock on that front leg and then you get a lot of pressure in the back of the knee. If you're getting pressure into the back of the knee, do a soft bend in that front knee. Especially if you tend to hyperextend. I tend to be a hyperextender, so my knee wants to push back and it puts a lot of pressure into that knee. Okay, so now from here, hands to your hips. That hip is what's going to move. This is what's going to happen. It's a rocking. Arms go out, tip over as you're going into that triangle pose. Now your fingertips can touch right down here, and all we're going to do is lift and tip. So we start with just that lift and tip. Now the relationship between your front arm and your back arm should stay in a vertical line or horizontal line. So they stay in sync with each other. One arm isn't leading the other. Now come forward. Again, fingertips can touch, and all we're going to do is lift up and down. So now the arms go up the vertical line. So we're pulling up through the vertical line with that top arm. And I like to rotate the top arm so the palm faces out when I go down and in when I come up. That way you get some work through that shoulder, some strength through the legs, but also strength through your torso, through all the muscles of the obliques. One more repetition, good, and then come down into your triangle pose. Oh, you're like, okay, now that feels like a relief. So from here, if you haven't got a block, you can bring your hand to your shin bone. I prefer you not hang in space again so that we're not contracting muscles that are unnecessary at this point in time. If you can take your hand all the way to the floor, feel free to do it. But that's why I love to work with a block, is it just gives us that support that we can maintain alignment and not compromise our alignment to hold the pose. Take your eyes up towards that top hand, inhale. Exhale, the legs are strong, I know they're working for you here. One more deep breath in, one more deep breath out. Good, and then inhale, come all the way up. Turn that toe in, and move the block. Okay, so now just move your hips side to side. Give yourself a little bit of a break. If you need to bend your knees, give yourself a little break. You can do a little belly dance here in your living room because nobody's watching. Okay, so no intimidation, right? Yes, so now, bringing your feet parallel again. Right, take a deep breath, inhale. We're going to come into a straddle forward bend. Just give us a little release here. Take the hands to your hips. Now take your thumbs into the back hip pockets, right at the top of the pelvis. Roll the shoulder blades back, open the chest. And then from that, keep that lifted feeling of the chest as you come forward. Maybe take your hands to the mat or to your block. Right, so depending on your mobility, maybe the hands can come to the mat easily. Maybe it's to the block, and if you've got lots of range of motion, walk your hands so they're in line with your feet. Shoulder width apart, elbows go through the legs. So the elbows go through the legs, so if you wanted to kick up into a handstand, you could. Go ahead and do that at home. Be safe. Don't kick out anything on your coffee tables as you go ahead and try that, but I'm going to just stay here. Good, breathe through it. Breathe in, breathe out. Pushing down through the feet. Inhale, create length through the whole torso. Good. And then hands to your hips. Engage your core to lift yourself up to standing. Good. And then exhale. Find your block. If you're using the block, let's go to the other side. Okay, we start with just the hip motion while we're talking to each other. Right, so we're just rocking our hips. We're standing in our houses, in your office, in your workout area, in your living room, wherever you are, just rocking out your hips. Okay, because when the hips move, all of these standing postures get so much easier, right? Because the hips can cause a lot of restriction. So we got the hips moving now. You're gonna take the arms out. We're just gonna tip over, and again, you can take your block so your fingertips can touch that block, and we tip up. All right, so I think of it, because I had little children at one point. I'm a little teapot, right? But then we leave out the rest of it because it's not so kind, politically incorrect. Anyway, so I'm a little teapot. I'm going to tip and up and tip and up. Hopefully some of you are smiling right now. I have no idea, right? One more. Good. And this time, come over and hold. So now this is where we go up the vertical line. You're going to rotate up. You're going to rotate down. Notice what's happening with that top arm. I'm turning the palm back. I'm turning the palm in. The bottom hand is reaching towards the block or the floor or towards your shin, and your legs are firmly grounded. Yes, two more. One more. Who's ready for triangle? And then come into triangle pose. So coming into your triangle pose. All right, so triangle is triangle. It's straight lines. It's about creating lines in your body. So take this top rib cage, open it up, and feel as though you're going to stack it over the bottom rib cage. And on the bottom side, your waist, you want to create length. Crown of the head is reaching away, fingertips reaching up. Turn towards that hand, looking upwards and breathing. Inhaling fully, exhaling completely. Full breath in, full breath out. So energetic poses. From here, turn your gaze back down. Press down through the feet. Inhale, come up. Exhale and lower the arms. Parallel again. Bring your block in front of you. We're going to go into one more forward bend. Hands come back. Inhale, open the chest. Roll the shoulder blades back. And then come into your forward bend as you bring your hands either to the block or to the floor. Inhale here. Exhale, come deeper into the pose. Hands about shoulder width apart, elbows going straight behind you. So you draw the elbows through your legs, slightly tuck your chin, Jalandhara Bandha, top of the head towards the floor. Take another breath in and out. Good, and then create length through the spine as you come up halfway. Hands come onto your hips. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. And exhale, walk your feet in. Roll out your feet, roll it out. Release any tension that you may have created through the lower body, but also catch your breath. So finding your breath, your inhalation, your exhalation. So we're going to go into standing poses. And remember in standing poses, at any time, if you lose your balance, just come to a wall, or to my picture on the wall, right? So let's bring your feet underneath your hips. Spread the toes, and then feel as though you're going to press equally into both feet into the ground. So find equal standing, Tadasana. So equal standing. And then reach up from your feet to your fingertips. Create length. Now the feet are moving downwards as the fingertips reach upwards, and that will activate through the core. So the core lifts us up and almost feels as though we're going to elevate from our feet, but our feet stay grounded. So press into your right foot, let the arms float out, and bring your left knee up. Now here's where we want focus. Right? We want to maintain the focus as we go through this standing series of balance. Extend the leg out in front. Okay, if you find you've got a lot of tension and your leg is like, it is not going forward, you can take that belt around your foot and use the belt to press out into the belt. I actually really love this option, even if you have flexibility, because it really grounds the legs, but engages the core. So as we actively push through the foot, all of the muscles in the posterior trunk have to work to keep us here. Inhale. Exhale, stay. Now you've got two options. You can keep the leg straight, or you can bend the knee. We're going to take the right arm out to the side to find a counterbalance as you take your left leg out to the side and find your balance there. And again, it can be here, a bent knee versus a straight leg. Just find balance, and then here's the worst thing that happens. You lose your balance. Then you just reset and you do it again. So a little helpful hint. So we often say focus forward. I know you're balancing, right? But also focus on the periphery. That's going to help you balance a little bit more. So eyes forward, but also the periphery. Hold for one more breath, and then when you're ready, come to the front. And here's where we get our strength segment. All right, let go. If you have the belt, hold. Exhale and lower the leg and roll it out. Whew. Right? Balance is interesting because it changes day to day, right? Depending on what's going on in our physical bodies and also in our mental state. Maybe we're a little bit off focus, which who would be off focus right now with what's going on in the world? Anyway, press into the opposite foot and then lift up the leg and find your balance. So some of you know this. I had surgery on my left ankle, so I still can't balance. So I'm going to use the wall, right? And I'm going to use the belt. So I regain my balance in an ankle that's a little bit unstable still, right? So again, you find what's right for you. Everybody's different. Everyone's unique. But remember, balance is a trained skill. If we never work it, we never get better. So rather than sitting down and opting out, just do what you can. Find that bent knee, find the straight leg. Inhale here. Exhale, move the leg to the side. Now remember, it can be straight or it can be bent. Your choice. Right, some of you today, I'm looking at the list of people who are in class today. Some of you are regular yoga participants, so this balance work is something that you're familiar with. For those of you who are new to the balance, you're like, whoa, this is challenging work. And I'm going to tell you right now, my students complain about the balance exercises and postures more than anything. So you're not alone. You are not alone. Everybody's talking to themselves right now. Right? There's conversations going on in your head. What is going on for me? All right, inhale here. As you exhale, come forward. Breathe into it. You've got this. Find stability. Let go. And lower it down. Oh, aren't we glad we're done that? Roll through the feet. Rolling through the feet. All right, so come to the top of your mat. You don't need any props right now. Take a deep breath. Inhale, raise up. As you exhale, come into that forward bend. Inhale, create length in the spine. Exhale, hands to the mat, jumper step back. Come down halfway or all the way. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Whew. Lift your heels, bend your knees, and come to seated. All right, so come to a seated position. So the next series, we're going to integrate some Pilates with our yoga. So again, you might want to use your belt, or if you've got lots of flexibility, you don't have to worry about it, but take your right foot, the belt around your right foot, and we're going to roll back, extending your leg towards the ceiling. So our initial position is both legs straight. Now, if there's a lot of tension, ease back on this lifted leg. But can we straighten both legs? And if there's no way, your body's saying, no way, not today, bend your bottom leg. But if you can, flex the heel or the foot of the bottom leg and pull the toes up. And then the top leg goes to where you can. All right, so if you've got lots of flexibility, you can take the first two fingers around that big toe, close the loop with your thumb, hold here, inhale, exhale. All right, let the heart rate settle because we are going to go into a little bit of a Pilates core series here. We're just trying to gain our flexibility before that happens. Right? Yeah. Inhale here. Good. Now exhale, let go of the leg. Now maybe the leg stays straight or maybe you go to a bent knee position. You decide. We curl up. We curl up. We lift the bottom leg just off the floor. Flex both feet. Right. Inhale here, exhale, switch. Switch. So we inhale, exhale, exhale. You can do this with bent knees, alternating the legs, one, the other. If it bothers your head to be lifted and unsupported, take your hands behind your head. If you can, start to train the muscles at the front of the neck by gently bringing the chin in for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Come back to your right leg lifted. Reach up and just small curl up. And up. Again, it can be bent knee. You can bring that bottom foot down. Small curls. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. Yes, this is a little bit of a core series for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Hands behind your head. Bend the top leg and switch out and out. Now we add that rotation. Rotate, rotate. Inhale, exhale to rotate. Now this can be a really hard exercise in your low back if you're taking in your low back. So think about what you're sensing in the back of your body, the back of your pelvis, your sacrum. The sacrum stays set. The rib cage is what moves. For 4, 3, 2, 1, hug in and rest. Oh, that was fun. You have a second set though because we have a second leg. So take your belt around the left foot, extend it up. Flex through the ankle and try to elongate through the hip and the knee. So this is an elongation all the way through the kinetic chain in the back of that leg. The opposite leg extends. Again, use your belt, use your hand if you want, right? So finding what feels right for you. Now, some subtleties in this pose. The right leg, the straight leg, the one that's along the floor, maybe it's your right, maybe it's your left. Flex the ankle, toes pointing up, so that leg stays in what we call neutral. Kneecap towards the ceiling, toe towards the ceiling. Put your hand on that hip and anchor that hip down so that we're ensuring that we're not rotating the spine to achieve this posture. Because sometimes the body will say, hey, let me do something different to get you to where you wanted to go. But we don't want that happening. We want to find that elongation in the back of the leg. All right, so let go. Remember, you got your options: straight leg, bent knees, curl up, pick up that leg, and then inhale, exhale to switch. Inhale, exhale. You can point or you can flex, whichever feels better for you. I find like flexing feels like I'm walking on the floor a little bit. It's all good. All right, so can you talk and do this? Breathe. So you're inhaling, exhaling, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Remember, you always got, now the left leg comes back, you always got the option to take your hands behind your head if that's better for you. You're going to reach and you're going to pulse up and up. Remember, you've got this option to go bent. Breathe in and out, in and out. It's a small contraction. You are almost at your favorite poses, which is your closing poses. We're almost there. Last 4, last 3, Last 2, and 1. Hold, 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 hold. Hands behind your head, bend that top leg. Here we go. Out and rotate. Inhale to the center, exhale to the opposite side. Inhale to the center, exhale to the opposite side. Keep it going. Nobody should be giving you the thumbs up right now because you're working, right? Last 4, last 3, last 2, last 1. Bring both legs up, straight up. Inhale here, right up, legs together. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Exhale, hug your knees and roll back. And just rock side to side. All right, so my most favorite yoga pose is coming up next. If you do not have a block, I would recommend go up against the wall, and you're going to see where we're going to go here. So if you have a yoga block, right, the cork or the wood ones are better for this pose than the foam ones. You're going to push your feet into the floor to lift your pelvis and bring the block underneath the back of the pelvis. And then you're going to let the weight of the bones of the pelvis go into the block. Now, if you haven't got a block, let me show you where we're going to go next, and then you can go to the wall. One leg goes up, other leg goes up. So you can do this here on the block, or go to the wall, swing your legs up the wall. Now, the thing about going up the wall is it's always really fun because you have to get your hips in super close. Hopefully I won't take the artwork off the wall, but let's see. You go in, get the hips in close, and then swing the legs up. I'm not going to put my feet up against her, but you get the idea. Then once you're there, take your arms out to the side, turn your palms open, and almost feel as you're lifting your sternum upwards. So the sternum goes upwards. Inhale here. Exhale and allow the chin to gently drop in, your eyes to close, and just come back to your breath, your inhalation, your exhalation. So the translation of the Sanskrit word for this pose is calm lake. And in your mind's eye, I would like you to take yourself to the picture of a calm lake. And just the sense of peace that it gives you when you see absolute stillness on the water. So think of that absolute stillness of the calm lake like our nervous system. When our nerves are rattled, it's like a choppy lake. But when the lake is calm, it's similar to how our nervous system relaxes. And with all that we have going in our lives right now, finding an inner peace and an inner calm is a way to help us with anxiety and stress that might rise up. So at any time during the day, if you start to feel that elevation of anxiety, lie down, put your legs up, and start to just calm the whole system. Because just by simply doing this, we are stimulating what's called that parasympathetic nervous system that I talked about earlier. Slowly come out of the pose by bringing your knees, or bending your knees, placing your feet on the floor, pushing your hips up just enough that you can slide the block away, and then let the hips come down. If you're against the wall, come away from the wall. So we come to our final pose, Shavasana. Inhale, lengthen the legs and the arms, and find that energy that's in the inhalation. And as you exhale, let everything go. Let's do it again. Reach and extend. Find energy in the inhale, and then balance it out with an exhale. One more time all together. Inhale, exhale, and let it completely go. And let's just take a full 60 seconds for yourself. There's actually a lot of research that indicates now that even if we take a little 60-second break from whatever we're doing and just stop and breathe, that it's incredibly beneficial for your health. So let's go back to where we began, our awareness of our breath, the awareness of your inhalation where it moves in your body, and your exhalation, how it changes your body. You see, each breath is an opportunity to change, to bring either excitement or calm, and slowly begin to awaken your body. You can bend your knees, reach your arms over your head, maybe bend the knees into your chest and rock side to side. Some of you met my dog the other day. He has been dying to come to this mat the entire time, so he gets to come now. So roll over to your side. Come on in, Cooper. I know, you've been dying to come into the mat. Okay, I know, you're a good boy. You're a good boy. So can you turn around and look at everybody? Maybe come sit down with Mommy. Okay, sit down with Mommy. Okay, come to seated position. So this is Cooper the yoga dog. All right, he loves this mat. He thinks this is now his new bed. Anyway, take a deep breath. Inhale, come up. Exhale, open. Let's do that again. Inhale, come up. And as you exhale, bring your hands together. Thumbs to your sternum. Gaze soft. And I want to thank you for practicing with me today. Enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend, whatever that means now, because it seems like every day is the same day. Namaste. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for coming. I look forward to seeing you. Remember, I work out daily, so every day we are doing a workout. Tomorrow I'm on again at noon, so noon hour class again tomorrow. So join me then, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.